Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today's layout is for Mixed Media Frenzy. So if you follow my channel, you will know that every Friday my scrappy friends and I get together and we either pick a sketch like we have this week or a layout to scrap lift or be inspired by. And this week's sketch is by Yana. It's from her Sketch Saturday with Yana series. So we're all going to be using that sketch for our inspiration today. So I've got two square photos from my little boy's school. It's his first ever school photo. And for my title, I'm using this, it's kind of like a puffy sticker title from the Vicky Boutin Colour Kaleidoscope collection. And I thought it was perfect because a lot of the colours in that appear in my photo. So I'm going to add my mixed media behind where my photos will sit in the same colour order as they appear in that title. So I'm using all my distress inks. I've got picked raspberry for the pink one there. This yellow shade is mustard seed. The orange is spiced marmalade, which is my favourite orange. It's like my go-to orange. I always pick that one over other shades. Next, I think comes green, if I remember rightly, which is mowed lawn. Yeah, I think it will be the green, mowed lawn. After that, I've got a bit of Mermaid Lagoon, and then it's chipped sapphire, I think. I'll double check as we go through, but I'm just using the packaging technique here, putting a bit of the ink pad on some packaging, mixing it with a bit of water, and then kissing that to the page to put that colour on. So I've not bothered with any gesso on my background this time round. I wasn't planning on adding a lot of water at all, so I knew my page wouldn't warp too badly. And I'm soaking up any excess ink there with that roll of paper towel, so it doesn't warp too much. If I was adding loads and loads of water, I might have been tempted to add some clear gesso as it's white cardstock, but I didn't see the need for this one. So I've added in my colours there, and I'm just going to come back in with some splatters in exactly the same colours, just mixing some of the ink there with some water and using a paintbrush to add splatters to the page just by tapping the paintbrush. My mixed media looks awful here. It's a really weird shape. I'm not sure what happened, but my photos are going to kind of sit to the top left of that, so I didn't see the need initially to have my mixed media going all the way down the page. On the original sketch, it kind of almost goes sort of horizontally but kind of diagonally. I could have stuck to that. I didn't really think much about it when I started my mixed media. I'd seen the sketch, kind of had it in my head, and then just got carried away and just cracked on really. So it kind of takes on a bit of a mind of its own, my mixed media, but I get this far and then realise I've got no mixed media showing under my photos, so I have to come back in with some of the colours and just add a little bit more of the ink there in exactly the same way, again just using the packaging technique. I was going to try and be brave and do it with my paintbrush, but I had the feeling it would not look the same, so I moved my photos out of the way and just carried on with the packaging technique. So just while I'm finishing that off, I will just remind everyone that today my scrappy friends are joining me as always. Mixed Media Frenzy is a Facebook group, so if you like mixed media, please do head over to the Facebook group. I'll pop a link in the description box below. We love it if you could take part in our Friday hops, just watch along. I'll pop the links to all of our channels in the description box, and if you want to have a go at this layout yourself, please do, feel free. In the Facebook group you can either post it to the wall, or we have an album set up every Friday for the particular week, so feel free to pop it in there as well if you want. And if you fancy joining in at the end of the month, it's the last Friday of the month, we invite all of our scrappy friends to join us. So if you'd like to join us, just pop over to the group and leave your YouTube or Instagram details in the thread for this month's hop. It will be a scrap lift. We've already picked the layout, so yeah, just head over if you'd like to join us. It'd be great to have you all join in. So anyway, enough of my rambling. Back to my layout. I've added some wood veneer pieces to my layout. On the sketch, Jana's got some black stars scattered along the kind of direction of her mixed media. So I've got some stars here. I'm going to paint them black because they're black on the sketch, and I think it will really help them pop off the page. I've got this gorgeous rainbow striped paper from the new Cocoa Vanilla Studio Sunkissed collection. I think I only bought 2 of the papers from this collection, and this was my favourite one, so I bought 2 pieces. The stripes worked really well with the pattern on my boy's jumper in the photos, so I initially was going to use it as a layer behind my photos, but obviously the strip of paper is longer than my 2 photos are, so I couldn't get all of the colours in, and that just bugged me. So in the end I decided to kind of veer off the sketch a little bit and add some paper strips top and bottom of my layout. And after all, we just use the sketch or layout we pick each week as an inspiration starting point. So I've kind of started my layout by following the sketch with my mixed media, and the fact that I've got 2 square photos and I've got the black stars that, well, they will be black by the end. But I've used a bit of creative license here and just kind of embellished my layout a little bit more with those patterned paper strips. Now I've added some foam behind my photos to raise them up off the page. It was looking a little bit flat. There's not a lot going on this layout, and I'm not going to heavily embellish it, so I needed to get some dimension in. So I've added the foam behind my photo, and I stuck my title sort of hanging off the top of the photo, which meant I needed to then add foam to the top section of each of the letters just to raise them up to the same level as the photos. So that's what you saw me doing there. And I've just used adhesive craft foam. It's self-adhesive on one side, and then I've used glossy accents to stick it down to my background. I find that glossy accents is the best thing when you've got either gesso or mixed media on your background. Sometimes wet PVA glue just doesn't hold. So now I want to add a couple of little bits of embellishments to my layout, but I'm not really sure what. I haven't used any particular collection, so it was a case of just finding random bits that kind of went. So I initially pulled out this floral ephemera pack here. That's from one of the new Pink Fresh Studio collections. I think it's Keeping It Real. Again, not a collection I've bought, but I did buy the floral ephemera pack. So I initially had a couple of flowers on there, but wasn't too keen on them. They were quite kind of faded and pale compared to the brightness of the mixed media and the patterned paper strips from the CVS collection. So I got rid of those, and I've replaced it just with a single pink flower there on the pink section from, that's the Paige Evans Bloom Street collection. And then I've just added a couple of other bits. So I've got a bit in the middle there that says Reach for the Stars. I think in the middle of the sketch there's something there on Jana's sketch, so I've put that there. And then I've popped another bit at the top there. I think that says Hello, and that's just to bring a bit more of the black into the layout. And now I'm just going around those wood veneer stars, painting them with black acrylic paint. Again, I've not added any gesso or anything to those, I've just gone straight on with the black paint. I do this quite often with my wood veneer pieces and it holds really well, so I know from experience I don't need to worry about gesso with those. And then I'm coming in with some Tim Holtz word strips here. I haven't got the layout next to me, so I can't remember what they say, but it was kind of things like dream big or follow your heart or something like that. You'll see them in the close-ups anyway. But I just wanted to add a few of those. I've got the title at the top there on the sort of top left corner of my photos, so I felt like I needed something bottom right to help balance that out a bit. So again, I'm going to add craft foam behind these to bring some more of that dimension in, and then I'm just going to kind of stagger those under that second photo on the right hand side there. And finally, I'm just going to add some of the puffy hearts, again from Vicky Boutin Colour Kaleidoscope. So this is the same sheet that my title has come from. and I tried to go tone on tone as best I can. The colours didn't match up perfectly, but they matched up enough that I could kind of stick to the colours that I had. And then I decided I needed some more texture on this page. There's not enough on it for me at all. So I've torn those strips in the centre, top and bottom, and folded them back and added a couple of staples on either bit. Just again, it brings in a bit more texture, a bit more dimension, so a bit more interest, and it just makes my page generally a bit more interesting to the eye. And then I've got these gorgeous butterflies here. These are from an older Cocoa Vanilla Studio collection. I think it might have been Happiness, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I bought a couple of sheets of it, and it is one of my favourite ever patterned papers because it had different coloured butterflies on it, so they work with all kinds of layouts. I'll probably cry when I've used them all up because I do reach for them quite often when I don't have embellishments in a particular collection to suit. I generally reach for these butterflies and I love them. So I've just popped a couple of those on, again trying to stick tone on tone. And that's my layout finished. So there's a photo there of the final layout, and I'll leave you with some close-ups, but please do remember to head down to my description box where you'll find the links of all the other ladies taking part today, and there'll also be a link to our Mixed Media Frenzy Facebook group. So thanks very much for joining me, and please remember to hit that subscribe button to see more of my layouts. Thanks very much.